Hello, everybody. RB here, and today we're going to be predicting the 2024-2025 NFL season. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through every single division and go through where I think they're going to finish. Each team's going to finish in their division, fourth to first, so last to first. And then for every single team, I will give a hot take on their team. And then after I go through every single division, I'm gonna go through seeding and then who I think is gonna get wild card spots, and then we're gonna call it, and we're gonna come back at playoff time. So we'll come back in January, and I'm probably gonna watch this video before I make my playoff prediction video for that. But yeah, expect some more of these for football, the whole football season. Basketball is coming back. The playoffs for baseball are coming up. And then NASCAR, that's coming up. Their playoffs. And IndyCar's finale if Pelot doesn't run away with the championship again, which is looking likely. So might not be able to make that one, but expect that we're doing NFL today. Expect NBA, expect MLB, and for all you racing fans out there, expect NASCAR. And hopefully IndyCar. Hopefully. I might even do IMSA too. So, yeah, that's my schedule for that. Let's get this started. We're going to start with the NFC and the NFC North. And obviously, I'm going to put the Vikings in last place because, well, who's throwing the ball for you? Is it Sam Darnold? Is it Nick Mullins? Who's the quarterback? And there's not really many good options for Vikings fans, which is unfortunate for them. But yeah, despite this, my hot take for them is you're not gonna. Many people don't know this man, but I think he had a down year last year. He had a really good year when he was with the Cardinals in 2022, I think. That was his last year with the Cardinals. I'm going to go turn my TV down. Hang on. Alright. I couldn't focus with the TV on. So my hot take for the Minnesota Vikings is Byron Murphy Jr., after having a down year last year, becomes an elite corner this year. What I saw from that man in his last year with the Cardinals was pretty good. And then he had a fall off with the Vikings, which, learning a new system, that could happen. But I think this year he picks up back to he has a breakout season, and he becomes an elite corner for the Vikings and a Pro Bowler. So that's my hot take for the Vikings. Coming in third, I have the Bears. I just think they're a middle of the pack team. They're a middle of the pack. We don't know what Caleb's going to be yet. We don't know what Rome's going to be. But I think they're going to be really good. It's going to be an improvement year for them, but who knows? They look really good in the preseason. They have some chemistry. Then you got DJ Moore, and then Keenan Allen, of course, and then I forgot who the running. Oh, Swift, DeAndre Swift too, and Cole Kmet. Caleb has a lot of weapons, that he can use. Not sure how the O line is for them, but their defense is loaded too. They got Montez Sweat, they got Jalen Johnson, and yeah, they have a lot of weapons. Who else did they got? They got Stevenson in the secondary also. Man, I forgot who's all in the Bears defense. I just know Montez and Jalen Johnson. I don't know. They're a really young team. Let's just say that. They have a bright future ahead of them. They are a really they're going to be a really good team in the future. My hot take for the Chicago Bears is DeAndre Swift has a even better year than he did last year. He had a really good year at Philly, then obviously comes over to the Bears on this deal. And I think he has 1,500 yards, and I think he's going to get double-digit touchdowns. He's going to have a really good year, I think. And yeah, he's probably the least talked about offensive weapon on the team. So yeah, let's see how he does. Now, the top two in this division are going to be the Lions and the Packers, but I think it's going to be really close. I think they're going to tie for the division lead, but I think the Lions are going to win the tiebreaker. So I have the Packers coming in second and then Detroit coming in first. Because the Lions were obviously really good. They almost made the Super Bowl for the first time in their franchise history. And the Packers really got better. They're a really young, good team. And the Packers are going to be dangerous this year, and so are the Lions. So those matchups between the Lions and the Packers are going to be so much fun to watch. And yeah, I can't wait to see it. But I have the Lions coming in first, and Green Bay having the same record as the Lions, but they're going to come in second because I think the Lions are going to have some sort of tiebreaker over them. Yeah, that division between those two is going to be closer than a lot of people think. But my hot take for the Packers, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say that Josh Jacobs underperforms this year. I think he's gonna have a worse year than 2023. As we all know, he had a bad year with the Raiders last year. I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna do with the Packers. And then obviously y'all just lost AJ Dillon too for the season. So I don't know. Your running back position is not looking too hot right now, I think. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of belief in Josh Jacobs. He could come shut me up. I would not be surprised, but I don't know. I don't think he's we'll see. And my hot take for the Lions. So the Lions, they just picked up. I'm a Broncos fan, and they just picked up one of my favorite players on the team, Tim Patrick. We cut him. So the Lions, my hot take for you guys is Tim Patrick establishes himself as a wide receiver to Amon-Ra. He's going to get 1,000 yards this year, and he's going to have over 10 touchdowns. He and Amon-Ra and Jared Goff are going to be elite this year. I think Tim Patrick's going to have a breakout year after spending the last two seasons hurt for the entire year. He got hurt in practice in 22 and 23. Had a decent year for us in 2021. I think he's going to be really good for the Lions, and I think Jared Goff's going to unlock his potential even more. Because he had a pretty good preseason with us, and then we cut him for some reason. But, oh well. So that's it for the NFC North. Now we're going to go to the NFC East, where coming in last, I have the Giants. As everybody knows now, paying Daniel Jones over Saquon was the wrong choice. And I think we're gonna find out this year that Daniel Jones is not the guy for you. So there is Shedeur Sanders. That's all I can say. But what I do see for you guys, your hot take is Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns are going to make the Giants pass rush the best in the NFC. Dexter Lawrence is really underrated. He's a really good player. But you guys picked up Brian Burns, and your defense looks pretty good. You got Banks as a corner. I mean, y'all lost McKinney, but I think you're going to be fine on defense, even if losing a really good player like Xavier McKinney to the Packers. But yeah, I think your defense is going to be pretty good. The offense is what's going to hold you back, and I think it's going to hold you back big time. It's going to put the defense in a lot of tough spots next year, which is unfortunate for you Giants fans. Coming in third, I got the Commanders. Um, Jaden Daniels has a lot of potential. He had a pretty good um, preseason. Scary Terry's still there, obviously. You got Logan Thomas at tight end. Offensive line, I think, is going to be improved. I mean, you got Cosme on there. He's pretty good. Hopefully, the defense is okay after you guys traded away all your superstars to the Bears and the Niners. At least on the defensive line, except for Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen, who Jonathan Allen's still a beast. But you guys obviously just traded Jahan Dotson. My hot take for you guys is obviously you guys know of Dyami Brown, and I forgot that Dyami Brown was on the roster for you guys, and I think that man's gonna have a breakout season. He's gonna go for over. He and Scary Terry are gonna go over 1K. Mark my words. And I'm gonna say this: Dyami Brown's gonna have more yards than Scary Terry as well. I think Dyami's gonna finish with 1,200. Scary Terry, I think, is just gonna clear 1K. So that's my hot take for Washington. Coming in second, I have Dallas. Obviously, everybody knows about their off season. They didn't do much. They just paid CD, which is good. So they have him for another 4 years. But it's the same team as last year. It's just I think Philly got better than you guys. So I think Philly's going to win the division again. And as we all know, the NFC East, there hasn't been a back-to-back winner in probably before I was born. So, yeah. My hot take for the Cowboys is, what's a good hot take for Dallas? This is a good one. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is gonna have a career resurgence starting from this year. I think that man is gonna be really more impactful than he has been the past couple of seasons. I think he's still with the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure he is. I don't think y'all cut him. I know y'all got rid of. I know Van Der Esch retired, which was unfortunate because I really liked Leighton Van Der Esch. And he was a really good player, and unfortunately injuries really took the toll on him. But yeah, I think DeMarcus Lawrence is gonna have a lot of forced fumbles because I know he's really good at strip sacking people. I think he's gonna finish around 8 to 9 sacks, but have 3 or 4 forced fumbles, and maybe a couple of fumble recoveries as well. But as we know, Cowboys they're good on both sides of the ball. I just think they're gonna be a wild card team this year. And coming in first, we got Philly. You guys picked up Saquon and Bryce Huff, 2 really big additions. Y'all lost Reddick, but that's okay. We'll be fine. It's basically a trade. Bryce Huff came from the Jets, and you guys got him, and then you guys gave up Hassan Reddick to the Jets. So it all works out. It all comes around. My hot take for Philly is y'all also got Jahan Dotson as well. He's gonna be like Quez Watkins for you guys. I think y'all remember Quez. He was a deep threat. He's a really good deep threat for Jalen Hurts. I think Jahan's going to be the same. And I think Jahan Dotson's going to end up with more touchdowns this year than A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. So, yeah. Defensive, obviously your defense is going to be better too. You guys got Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship back there, James Bradbury, and Big Play Slays. You got depth. You got really good depth. Y'all lost Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey to retirement, but that's okay. We'll still be fine. Your offensive line is still awesome. Saquon's going to be really good again. The only times where he wasn't good was when he got hurt. He wasn't the same after he got hurt. But every year that he hasn't been hurt, he's been insane. So, yeah, Saquon's, I think, is going to have a really good year. But my hot take is Dotson getting more touchdowns than A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Now we're going to go to the NFC South. where we're going to have the Panthers finishing last. Um, y'all are going to be improved. You're going to be improved. You're not going to be the same team as last year. You got better players for the O-line, for wide receiver. Guys like Robert Hunt, Deontay Johnson, y'all got. But you still got Derek Brown on defense. You got Bryce. You drafted Jonathan Brooks, and you still have Hubbard. But what I think your hot take for Carolina is going to be is I think Bryce Young will prove that he is the guy and throw for over 4,000 yards on this year. 4,000 yards. I'm going to go with 29 touchdowns and let's say 9 interceptions. Let's go with that stat line for the season for him. Next up, I got the Saints. I think y'all are going to drop this year. I don't know. I don't think Derek Carr is going to be your starting quarterback for the whole season. You still got Alvin. You still got Olave. Defense, you still got Cam Jordan. You still got Lattimore. You have a lot of good corners. Your secondary is going to be pretty nice for the Saints. And I'm going to say Kool-Aid. My hot take is Kool-Aid is going to be your quarterback one by the end of the season. I think he's going to make the Pro Bowl in his first season. I like Kool-Aid at Alabama. I think he was a really good corner. I think he's going to translate that to the NFL and become elite, kind of like Marshawn Lattimore in his rookie season for the Saints. So, yeah. In second, I have the Bucs. I have Tampa. You paid Mike Evans. You paid Baker. That's what you needed to do. You still have basically the same team. Obviously, Dave Canales is gone, which is unfortunate that he also went to Carolina. But I still think Baker's going to be fine. Probably going to have a little bit of a drop-off from last year. I don't think he's going to throw for 4,000 again. I think he's going to be right under it. You guys lost Shaq Barrett to retirement, and you traded away Carlton Davis. But that is okay because I think for your guys' hot take is Antoine Winfield had an insane year last year, and he got All-Pro nods, I'm pretty sure. I think that man will lead the league in interceptions this year. Interceptions and then sacks for secondary players. I think that man's going to build off of what he did last year and become even better. I don't know. The man was insane last year, and I think he's going to throw up a few insane seasons for his career, and he's going to really establish himself as a insanely talented, great player in this league, as he should be. He's a really good player. He's really underrated. He had a very good season last year, and he should have more recognition than he gets. So that's my hot take for Tampa. And then coming in first is the Falcons, who really improved their offense with Kirk Cousins. And then defensively, you guys have a ton of playmakers. You just signed Justin Simmons. You just traded for Matthew Judon. You have Grady Jarrett coming back. Jesse Bates was awesome last year. A.J. Terrell is still there. There's so many playmakers on the defense. And that's why my hot take for the Falcons is that you guys have the best defense in the league, and you're going to have over 5 Pro Bowlers on the defense and over 5 overall, because Bijan's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. I don't think Drake London, Kyle Pitts will be. Neither will Kirk. I think Kirk was going to game manage. He's going to be a game manager, but he's going to be really efficient. And he's going to win you guys a ton of games. But in my opinion, for you guys, the Pro Bowlers, Bijan's going to be a Pro Bowler. Chris Lindstrom, he's really good. Caleb McGarry, that's 3 on offense. But here comes the guys on defense. Jesse Bates will be again. Grady Jarrett, I think, is going to come back and be really good. A.J. Terrell, he'll have a bounce back year. Justin Simmons is awesome. He and Bates are going to be fun to watch in the secondary. Who else do y'all have on the defense? Oh, and Matthew Judon's gonna come back from injury and be insane again. There's a ton of playmakers on your team. You guys are gonna be really scary this year. So that's my opinion on that. Now we're gonna go to the last division. We're gonna go to the NFC West. And starting out there, last place, the Cardinals. I think you're good. I think that division is going to be the best division in the NFC, in my opinion. I think the Cardinals are going to probably finish with 6, 7 wins, and then Seattle's going to be like 8, 9, and the Rams and Niners are at double digits, like at 11, 12. So I think the NFC West is going to be the best division in the NFC. The Cardinals, they have good talent. This is the year that sets them up for future contention, in my opinion. You got Jalen Thompson, you got Buddha on the defense. Then on offense, still got Kyler. James Conner had a great year last year. And Trey McBride. Hollywood Brown's gone, but that's unfortunate. But that's okay. You guys are fine because you got MHJ, who probably will have a really good year because, Marvin Harrison's his dad, but can't base it off a name. You got to see it in person. But in my opinion, and my hot take for you guys is Trey McBride will finish this season as the best tight end in the league. I am so high on that man. I think he's going to be really insane. He and MHJ are going to go off this season, I think. And same with James Conner. But I just think the defense will let you guys down late. But I think you guys are going to be in contention to win a lot of games. You're going to be really improved this year, unless your whole team gets hurt. Coming in third, I have the Seahawks. They're a middle-of-the-road team the past 2 seasons, and they didn't really improve. They stayed the same, basically, so I think they're going to be the same and finish around 8-9, 9-8. Got Geno, of course. Traded for Sam Howell, which I think is going to be a great move. He can learn behind Geno. Got K9 in the backfield. Still got DK, Tyler Lockett, and JSN. Defense got better with you guys got rid of Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, which I think was a good move. You brought in Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle, Bobby Wagner and Jordan. That's what I think. Your defense actually didn't get better, actually, because you guys really lost some of your core pieces. Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks are big losses for the team. And then you got Boye Mafe, and Nwosu's coming back from injury. So that's going to be good for you guys. But my hot take for the Seahawks is DK is going to be finished with over 1K, but so will JSN. JSN will have a breakout year this year. So let's see. I hope I'm right because he had a really good preseason. Let's see how he does. I think he's going to be really good. Now, I'm going to say this. The NFC West, the 49ers and Rams, I think are a lot closer than what people think. Same with the Lions and Packers. I'm still going to give the edge to San Fran, but LA is going to finish with the same record as San Fran. Because the 49ers, they're still really good. I'm assuming Brandon Ayuk's going to play the whole season. If not, then I might change that to the Rams ahead of you guys because the Rams got better. But yeah, my hot take for the Rams is you guys still have Stafford, you got Kyron, you got Puka, you got Cooper Kupp. Your team's stacked on offense and defense. But on defense, you got Byron Young, Turner, Kobe Durant, Trey White. It's stacked. It's stacked on defense. I can't remember some of the guys on your defense, but it's pretty good. My hot take for the Rams is what's his name? My hot take for the Rams is Byron Turner is going to finish top 5 in sacks this season. across the league. Um, I think he's going to be build on his pretty good rookie season last year. He had a pretty good season last year. I think it's going to build on this year, and he's going to be even better than what he was last year. And then San Francisco, my hot take for you guys is even though he tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl running onto the field, which is probably going to be the weirdest injury I've ever seen watching football, which was very unfortunate because Dre Greenlaw is a really great player and should have more recognition alongside Fred Warner, as your team has a ton of superstars on offense and defense. But I think Dre Greenlaw is going to stand out and be your best defensive player this season, besides the guys who you obviously have: Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Hufanga, Charvarius Ward. I think he's going to have a really good year too. He and Dre Greenlaw are going to stand out compared to the bigger names on your defense. Obviously, at offense, you still are stacked. Obviously, Brock Purdy, CMC, Kittle, Debo, and hopefully Brandon Ayuk. We'll find out what he does later. So that's it for the NFC. I'm going to give you guys my seed rankings now. I'm going to have Detroit as the 1 seed. I'm just putting San Francisco at 3 because we don't know what's going to happen with Brandon Ayuk. Philly's by 2 at the moment. Then it's San Francisco at 3, and then Atlanta at 4. And then my wild card teams, you got the Packers. They're going to be 5. Dallas is going to be 6. Or no, I forgot about the Rams. I have the Rams at 6. And then at 7, I'm still going with Dallas. I'm still going to go with Dallas. I wasn't going to troll and put somebody like a Seattle or a Tampa ahead of Dallas. But I think Dallas is going to... I'm sorry, Buccaneers fans, but I got to put Dallas ahead of you. Sorry. No hard feelings. I'm sorry. I think you guys are a really good team, and you guys can make the playoffs. I think there is 8 teams, 8 in the NFC that deserve to be playoff teams. So I got to cut one, and it's got to be you, Tampa. I'm sorry. Now we're going to go to the AFC. We're going to start in the AFC East, where I have New England being in last, as this is a new era for you guys. You guys are probably not going to be that good because this is your first year without Belichick. But you guys are gonna find out what your identity is for the future this year, and then maybe next year, maybe even a third year before you guys start contending. But that's if certain guys are good, like Drake May. But what I think for you guys is Marcus Jones, the guy. My hot take for the Patriots is Marcus Jones, the guy who returns punts for New England. He's going to turn into the new Devin Hester, Cordero Patterson of this era. He is going to have 5 punt return touchdowns. 5 for New England. 5 or more. I've seen him. He and Keyshawn Nixon are the best punt/kick returners in the league. And Marcus Jones doesn't get as much recognition as Keyshawn Nixon, but he should, and he will after this season. Mark my words. Coming in third, I have the Jets. I have the Jets in third, and here's why. I have to see Aaron Rodgers play before I could say they're the best team in this division. I have to see it because Aaron Rodgers is 40. He's coming off a major injury. Who knows how he's going to look? He might be terrible. Who knows? I mean, do we expect Russell Wilson to be how he was with the Broncos? No. Did we expect Peyton Manning to be as bad after he had an injury? No. Ben Roethlisberger was even terrible after his elbow injury, but it's an elbow injury, and it was his throwing arm too, so that was kind of expected. But big name quarterbacks after major injuries are not that good. And who knows what could happen to Aaron Rodgers after his Achilles tear? He could be bad. Obviously, you guys picked up an offensive lineman to help protect him. And you got Mike Williams, another big threat. But he's injured. And who knows if Aaron Rodgers is going to be ready for the season? I'm assuming he will be, but who knows? But my hot take for you guys is Breece Hall will finish this year as the best running back in the league, clear cut, the best running back in the league, and he is either going to barely miss 2,000 rushing yards or barely get over 2,000 rushing yards. I think he's going to have that good of a season. I think he is that good. He should get more credit than he does. And honestly, I think he's closer to CMC than people realize. But those are my two best running backs in the league by far, CMC and Breece. But I think Breece is going to overtake CMC after the season. Coming in second, I'm going to put Buffalo. I'm going to put the Bills in second, and then Miami in first. That's going to be close, but I think Miami's going to get the edge in the last week of the season. And this is not a dig at Buffalo. I just think you guys lost a lot in the offseason. A lot of your good players, but they were aging. So now it's time to get some young turnover and get young guys in there, which is good for you guys. You guys got young guys. Josh Allen is still there. James Cook will be better. Khalil Shakir, I think, will be really good for you guys. And same with Keon Coleman. You got Dalton Kincaid as well. Dalton Kincaid. And then on defense, still got Ed Oliver. You still got Greg Rousseau. Teron Johnson's underrated. He's really good. Taylor Rapp as well. Hopefully DeMar Hamlin can play better after his scare, which is now 2 years ago. Or no, it was 1 year ago. I forgot. Well, this is going to be the second season after it happened. So, yeah, it is 2 seasons ago now. But my hot take for the Bills is Dalton Kincaid will establish himself as the best tight end in the AFC and the second best tight end in the league behind Trey McBride. He's going to have a really good second season after a pretty good, decent first year. He had, I think, like 700 yards, but he has clearly established himself as better than Dawson Knox, which is why I want him on my team, because I think Dawson Knox is pretty decent. He's a decent tight end, but he's not. We don't have a really good tight end. The Broncos don't. We need a better tight end. Dawson Knox will be an upgrade from what we have. And yes, I know we have Greg Dulcich, but he's never healthy. So coming in first, I have the Dolphins. Offense is still going to be scary. Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle should bounce back after last year. You guys lost some stuff, but you did a good job in the offseason to gain some of it back. Christian Wilkins left, Robert Hunt left, but you picked up guys like Jordan Brooks, Jordan Poyer. Those are some good names to get. And what I think is going to happen is Jordan Brooks is my hot take for you Dolphins fans. And I did give him one of the Bills. I think Jordan Brooks will have the most sacks for a line. No, not sacks. He'll have the most interceptions for a linebacker this year. I don't know. Jordan Brooks, he's a tackling machine. He's really good, really underrated. A lot of linebackers are very underrated in this league. Like, I'll just throw out some names right now. Foye Oluokun, Alex Singleton, Zaire Franklin. They don't get as much credit as they deserve compared to guys like Bobby Wagner and Fred Warner. But there's a lot of good linebackers in the league, and it's not just those two guys. Those are the only two guys that get talked about the most, who just play linebacker and don't rush the quarterback. So I think Jordan Brooks establishes himself as a top-tier linebacker this season. Next, we're going to go to the AFC West, which is going to be a pretty straightforward division. My team coming in last this AFC West, they're going to be fourth. Denver. Um, this is going to be a learning year. First year of Bo. We got guys. We still got Cortland. We still have. Hopefully Javante's better this year than he was last year. Marvin Mims, hopefully he's pretty good for us. And then we have a mess at tight end. O-line should be decent. Defensive line should be pretty good. I think, and we have the secondary. This team's pretty young. I like the team. I think we're gonna have some guys establish themselves as better players. Like, obviously, we have like three established guys that most of the NFL knows. Pat Surtain II, Cortland Sutton, and obviously Bo. What I think is going to happen is I have two hot takes for us because this is the team I know the most in and out of because it's the team I pay attention to the most. I think we're going to have three guys get over 10 plus sacks. Baron Browning, Jonathan Cooper, and Nick Bonito. Remember those three names. Those are our best pass rushers. And then we're going to have Alex Singleton lead the NFL in tackles. He is a tackling machine, dude. Ever since we picked him up from Philly, the dude has been insane. I am so happy for this man. And we might even have a Pro Bowl offensive. We might even have one of the best offensive linemen in the league, but he doesn't get recognition. And it's Wisconsin Whitewater's own Quinn Meinerz. He is awesome for the offensive line. I love that man to death, and I hope he's a Bronco for life. I love that man, and he better get more recognition than he deserves. He was probably the best right guard in the league. I think he's a right guard or a right tackle. It's one of the two. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the offensive line as much. But he is going to be a top 10 lineman, offensive lineman this season. Mark my words. He already was last year. He should be a top 10 offensive lineman this season. Mark my words. Coming in third, I got the Chargers. You guys lost a lot. You lost Keenan. You lost Mike Williams. You still got Josh Palmer. You still got Justin Herbert. Oh, you lost Eckler too. But you did a good job replacing Eckler and Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. Hopefully J.K.'s healthy for the whole season. But you still got Gus the Bus, and Gus the Bus is not a bad running back. Offensive line is okay. It's a pretty good offensive line. You got Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt. It's not bad. Your team is not bad. I just don't think it's going to be that good because Justin Herbert needs to learn his new weapons. Defensively, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. He is a decent corner. He's underrated. Still got Joey and Khalil Mack. And you got Murray Jr. as a linebacker, too. He's not that bad as well. For my hot take for you guys, Gus the Bus, 1K yards. Book it. Book it. 1K yards, 12 touchdowns. Book it. I feel that confident in that man. I would say JK is your running back one, but we all know how he does. We all know he hasn't lasted a full season in, I think, his career. Maybe he did his rookie year. I'm not sure. But I think Gus the Bus will hit 1K yards and be really good for the LA Chargers this season. And I think JK is probably going to get hurt again. But your team is not that bad. I don't think you guys are going to contend just yet, but next year I think you're going to be even better after your first year with Harbaugh. Coming in second, I have the Raiders. They're going to finish above 500 this season, I'm pretty sure. Their offense is probably their weakness on the team. The defense is loaded. It's going to be a top 5 defense this season. You know, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. That's a fearsome pass rushing duo. Robert Spillane in the middle of the field as a linebacker. He is awesome. Another underrated linebacker. Jack Jones is going to be better this year. Nate Hobbs probably should be better. You guys still got Trayvon Merrick. but um, I think Jack Jones leads the league in interceptions. That's my hot take for you guys. I don't know if I've thrown that one out there yet, but he's gonna lead the league in um, in interceptions. Oh, I forgot to mention this about you Lions fans. Sorry, this just popped in my head now. I forgot about talking about your defense. Lions got Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil. That man's gonna complement Aiden Hutchinson. They're gonna get combined 30 sacks, both of them. And Aleem McNeil is a defensive tackle, which is even more insane. But he's just as good as I'm forgetting his name. He's on the Ravens. Matabike, Justin Matabike. Um, then your secondary is insane. Carlton Davis, Kirby Joseph, Terry Arnold, Brian Branch. So yeah, I just wanted to give more love to the Lions. So yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, back to the Raiders. Your offense, Zamir White's gonna be better than a lot of people think. Zamir White, I think, had a better year than Josh Jacobs last year. He's pretty young. I think he's gonna do pretty good for the Raiders. You got Minshew. He can be a game manager. I mean, the Colts finished 9-8 with him as the starting quarterback for 13 weeks of the season, and they played better with Anthony Richardson, of course. But Gardner is not that bad as well, and he can lead the Raiders to the playoffs. I'm confident in that. He could lead them to the playoffs, or be right outside of it. It's gonna be a good year for the Raiders. I'm pretty sure. And then coming in first, you got Kansas City. Hey, what can I really say? They're stacked all across the board. But I'm going to say Isaiah Pacheco is going to have a really electric season. He's going to finish second place in rushing to Breece Hall. It's going to be a close rushing battle between those two, I think. I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to finish. I think he's going to break out. He's going to have a really good start to the season. And they're going to keep riding his momentum. Kind of like what the Jets might do with Breece, because they tend to do that with him as well. But I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to finish with 1,900 yards and 15 touchdowns. I think he's going to be insane this season. Because he's had 2 good years. He had a good rookie year, really good rookie year, and then had a better year his second year. I think he's gonna break out and have a crazy season this year. So yeah, the Chiefs might run the ball a lot this year because they have a really elite running back, in my opinion. Now we're gonna move on to the last 2 divisions, which are the 2 toughest divisions, I think, in football. Besides the NFC West, we got the AFC South. Coming in last, I gotta put the Titans. I don't know. It's tougher than people think. Second through fourth could be so interchangeable. That the whole division is really good, I think. The Titans are pretty good now, I think. The Colts are gonna be pretty good. Jacksonville's gonna be pretty good, but Houston's way above them. I think they're gonna be 1 pretty easily. So I have the Tennessee coming in last. You guys have a really good offseason. You got Tony Pollard now complimenting Tyjae Spears. Will Levis is there. Okongwu at tight end. Wide receivers, you guys really did pretty good on that. D-Hop and Calvin Ridley are going to be awesome together. So that's going to be fun to watch. Same with your defense is pretty good too. L'Jarius Sneed, Jeffrey Simmons. That's going to be fun to watch, those 2 now. And there's others on your team. I'm just afraid. Oh, Harold Landry, Amani Hooker, he's pretty good. Yeah, your team is nasty. Your team is pretty good. But my hot take for you guys is Will Levis will throw 5,000 passing yards. He'll throw for over 5K. He won't lead the league, but he'll be close. He'll be up in the top 3 for sure. Will Levis will be at 5,000 or more passing yards this year and prove he is an elite quarterback and is the Titans guy. He had a nice rookie year last year. Coming in third, I got to put Jacksonville. I don't know. I just think the Colts are going to have a pretty big leap this year after what I saw from Anthony Richardson and just the whole team in general. So yeah, I got Jacksonville in third. You guys have a pretty good team. Still got Trevor Lawrence, got ETN still there. Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr., Evan Ingram. O-line's decent. It's decent. Defense is going to be Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines Allen, Foye Oluokun. Who do y'all got at corner and safety? Oh boy, there's some names I knew one of them. I already forgot them. Crap. Oh, I'm gonna get hate for this. Ah man. Man, why am I so forgetful today? Shit. Yeah, you guys have a really nice team. I just think this division's so competitive, and I think the Colts have a better team than you guys, and same with Houston. So I have Jacksonville finishing third. My hot take for you guys is Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker each have over 15 sacks. I think they're the best pass rush duo in the game, and they're going to stay that way, and they're both going to improve after having really good seasons last year, both of them. I think Josh Allen's going to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. I should do that as well at the end, awards. So then coming in second, I have the Colts. Anthony Richardson, I think, is going to go off this year. I think he's going to be insane. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt again because his first 4 games of the season, he was so electric. He was so fun to watch, dude. I wish I watched him before he got hurt. That was so unfortunate. JT is still there. You have Michael Pittman, Adonai Mitchell. Your receivers are stacked. I don't know who your tight end is. Is it still Mo Alie-Cox? I think it is. O-line's decent. It's still pretty decent. Defense is going to be awesome. Defensive line. I think you guys have the best defensive line in football. Zaire Franklin in the middle. Your secondary is pretty good. I think the Colts are a sleeper team. I think they are my hot take for the Colts, and this is honestly for your whole team. You guys are making the playoffs, in my opinion. Obviously, yes, the AFC is stacked with a lot of good talent on these teams, but I think the Colts are underrated as hell, and I think they're going to get the 7th seed this year. 6 or 7, but probably 7 in my opinion. Yeah, I have the Colts making the playoffs. I'm pretty high on them. And then last but not least, I got the Texans. They're first. Their team is stacked, especially their offense. You got CJ, you got Stephon Diggs, you got... Well, I don't think Stephon... That's my hot take for you guys. Stephon Diggs underperforms. I don't know. He was pretty bad last year for the Bills. I think he's just starting to slow down now. I don't think he's going to be as good as Nico and Tank. They're going to be insane this year. And same with Dalton Schultz. You got Laramie Tunsil, who is awesome on the offensive line. Same with Shaq Mason. Defensively, Derek Stingley is a beast. Will Anderson is fun to watch. Danielle Hunter. I mean, y'all lost John Grenard, but it was basically a trade. The Vikings get John Grenard. He's going to be awesome this year for them. Probably get over 15 sacks, as well as Danielle Hunter. He's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to have... I think he's going to have a worse year than John Grenard will. But he's still going to be pretty good for the Texans. Jalen Petre is underrated. You guys lost Steven Nelson to retirement, but I think that's fine. You'll be okay without him. I don't know. Your team is stacked. It's better than the Colts. Your team is very stacked. Oh, I forgot about Joe Mixon, too. Joe Mixon. But my hot take for you guys is, yeah, it's Stephon Diggs underperforming. But my other one would be um, CJ Stroud being the passing leader this year. I think that's going to happen. So now we go into what was the toughest division in all of football last year, the AFC North. There is only one reason why I'm putting the Browns in fourth, and that is your quarterback play. I don't know how Deshaun Watson's going to do. Otherwise, your team is pretty good. But in case Deshaun, you finally realize that Watson is not the guy, I think Jameis could do pretty good for you this year. I don't know. Jameis is a quality backup, and I think the man could be pretty good this year if he gets a starting gig. I don't know. Browns backup quarterbacks recently have been pretty awesome to watch. Jacoby Brissett was pretty good for them. Joe Flacco, obviously, last year. And who knows? Browns backup quarterbacks have been really good. Maybe Jameis could be the next. Coming in third, I have Pittsburgh. And I honestly think you guys could challenge for a playoff spot if you start Justin Fields. I don't know about Russ. I don't know. I think Russ is gonna be good, but I think Justin Fields is gonna be better. I don't know. I don't think the Bears should have gave up on Justin Fields. And if he balls out with the Steelers, I would not be surprised. Najee and Jalen Warren are gonna be fun to watch. That's another thing with the Browns. You guys, your defense is going to be probably the second best in all of football, or in the AFC, my bad, because I think the Raiders are better. But your offense has some question marks. Offensive line is pretty good. David Njoku is awesome. You still got Amari. You got Jerry Jeudy, who I don't think he's going to do as good as people expect. And yeah, that is bias, but I really don't care. And then Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is going to be a question mark how he's going to do after his injury. But you still got Jerome Ford, who is nice. But the main one is quarterback. That's what you guys got to be concerned about. Same with the Steelers. They have quarterback questions. Running back tandem is going to be elite this year. George Pickens is going to be also elite. And Pat Freiermuth is going to be decent. Defensively, Patrick Queen's going to be a beast. That's another linebacker that gets talked about too a lot. But there's so many more good ones besides Queen, Bobby Wagner, and Fred Warner. You guys still have Minka. You still have TJ and Alex Highsmith. Your team, Joey Porter Jr. Your team is nasty. Your team's good, but I think it's coming in third because this division in a whole is just a gauntlet. It has a lot of talent. But my hot take for the Steelers is Justin Fields has his best year of his career if he is the starter. He is going to have, if he is the starter, 4,800 yards. He's going to have over 10 rushing touchdowns. And he's going to throw for like 31 touchdowns and let's say 7 picks. He's going to have a breakout year, a really awesome year, if he is the starter, which I hope he is. He better be the starter. If it's Russ, I'm not going to be happy. I liked Russ when he was with the Broncos. Oh. Oh my God. I just got an ESPN notification. This is so awesome. You can't make this up. I just got an ESPN notification, and it just said Mike Tomlin is starting Russell Wilson. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this up. This literally just happened. That is insane. I just literally say if Justin Fields is a starter, I get an ESPN fantasy notification saying Mike Tomlin starting Russell Wilson week 1. You cannot make this stuff up. Oh, that is awesome timing. That is awesome timing. That is hilarious. That is hilarious timing. But I'm still going with that stat because it's probably gonna be lower now. So I'll go with 4,300 something, maybe 28 touchdowns, and we'll keep 7 picks, and maybe I'll say 9 rushing touchdowns for Justin Fields. But yeah, that is crazy timing. I cannot believe that just happened. Second place, I have the Bengals. Joe Burrow should be back. I think your running game is going to be pretty better than anybody expects. I liked what I saw from Chase Brown last year, and you got Zach Moss as well. Mike Gesicki is is a very good tight end, and I think he's going to be better than what he has been for the Patriots and Dolphins. Um, I don't know. Bengals tight ends are really good with Joe Burrow, and then obviously you guys got Jamar Chase and T Higgins. Like obviously the O line is question marks because they got hurt. They have a lot of them that are hurt, but your defense is also pretty good. Your secondary is very underrated. You have Logan Wilson as well at linebacker, who is one of the best in football, who is very forgettable. I forgot about him too after make throughout this video, and now I just remembered how good he is, and he is a top 5 linebacker in the league. You still have Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard on the line. Yeah, your defense is probably gonna be the strength of your team, and I still have you finishing second to Baltimore, but your defense I think is gonna be better than your offense, and I think Cam Taylor-Britt will be a Pro Bowl corner this year. That's my hot take for you guys. He's underrated. He's really good. There's a lot of corners that are underrated in this league, and I think Cam Taylor-Britt's gonna break out, kind of like L'Jarius Sneed, have a really good year. But there's a few corners like Cam Taylor-Britt, L'Jarius Sneed, Jack Jones, to name a few, that are really good, but they don't get a lot of recognition. I think we're gonna have new corner Pro Bowlers this year, and those 3 are 3 of them. There's a couple more that I just can't think of right now that I've said throughout the video, but yeah, those are the 3 that I can come through right now because I'm in the AFC. Now we're gonna go to first place, which is Baltimore. Your team is still good. You did lose a couple pieces, but you should be fine. I mean, the offense is pretty good. You got Lamar. Oh yeah, Derrick Henry. Jesus, I forgot about Derrick Henry. Wide receivers, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. I mean, the team is Rashad Bateman too, and then your O line is underrated as well. Tyler Linderbaum. You guys did lose Kevin Zeitler to the Lions, but that's okay because your Ronnie Stanley is still there. You should be fine on the offensive line part. Defensively, you did lose a couple pieces like Patrick Queen. Clowney is gone, but that's okay because you still have Justin Madubuike. Marlon Humphrey is still there as well. Your secondary is very underrated. I think it's still one of the best. Nate Wiggins, I think, is going to be pretty good for you. Marcus Williams is an underrated safety. Yeah, I think the Ravens should be fine. And my hot take for you guys is Zay Flowers will finish with over 1,000 yards. I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of guys who finish with over 1,000 rushing yards and passing yards this year. I think it's going to be a really heavy offensive year this year. There's going to be a lot of high-scoring games. But there could also be a lot of defensive shootouts. I don't know. You don't know in the NFL. It's insane every year. So that's it for the AFC. Now I'm going to go through seeding. My 1 seed is Houston. I think they're going to be the 1 seed. I don't know. I'm drinking their Kool-Aid. I'm buying into the hype for them. The 2nd seed, I'm going to put Kansas City here because, they're Kansas City. 3rd, Baltimore. Pretty safe pick with them. I think they're still going to win the division. And then 4th, Miami. Miami will be in 4th. So my 3 wild card spots, Bengals is 5th. They're going to be 5th. No doubt about it in my mind. In 6th, oh man, there's a couple of teams that I feel, this is tough. There are 4 teams in my head right now that I really can see making the playoffs. And I'll just name them off right now. It's the Bills, Colts, Jets, and Raiders. I think the Bills still get in. I think they're going to be 6. And then the Colts are going to edge out the Raiders and Jets for the 7th seed. I don't know. I think the Raiders, Jets, and Steelers. They're gonna be all the teams that are gonna finish above 500 this year. So now I'm gonna go to my awards. I'm gonna start out with Defensive Player of the Year. I'm gonna go with Max Crosby. I think that man's gonna have really good year. I think he's gonna establish himself as the best defensive player in the league. And I think he's going to have a stat line of 21 sacks. I think he's going to get close to Michael Strahan and TJ's record, but he's also going to have a lot of strip sacks as well. I don't know. He's really good. I think this is the year that he finally gets Defensive Player of the Year, but there's a lot of candidates for that award. And he's a favorite for it. I know that. Nick Bosa, TJ, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons. But there are some secondary players that are also really good, and I think we'll get recognition. Oh, Aiden Hutchinson as well on the defensive line. But Antoine Winfield Jr. I think will. Xavier McKinney. There's gonna be a lot of guys, but I think Max Crosby's gonna lead the pack, and be Defensive Player of the Year this year. Offensive Player of the Year, Breece Hall. Breece Hall, I see him establishing himself as the best offensive player in the league, and with his 2,000 rushing yard season, he's gonna have a lot of touchdowns. I think he's gonna have over 20. So I think Breece Hall is gonna get a lot of touches this year, and I think he's gonna really have a big season this year and have Offensive Player of the Year awards. Now we're going to go to Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know Caleb Williams is there. I'm going to pick Marvin Harrison, though, because who else does Kyler Murray have to throw to? He has Trey McBride, but he's going to have to throw to Marvin Harrison. He's going to get a lot of touches this year, Marvin Harrison. He's going to get a lot of passes thrown to him. He's going to get a lot of catches, a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. I think he's going to impress more people, more of the experts, than Caleb Williams will. So I think it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. As for Defensive Rookie of the Year, this is tough, but I think it's going to go to Laiatu Latu on the Colts. I don't know. I like him a lot. I think the Colts got a really good player, and I think he's going to break out. Their defensive line is loaded with star players. DeForest Buckner, Latu, Grover Stewart, just to name a few. They have more guys, or Kwity Paye as well. They have 4 or 5 guys on the defensive line who are really big game changers on that team. And I think Latu's going to fit right into that crowd, and he's going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. And what else do I need? Oh, I need Coach of the Year and MVP. My Coach of the Year, I'm going to go with Shane Steichen, because he's going to lead, because no one's really picking the Colts to make the playoffs besides myself. And I think Shane Steichen's going to be a big part of the Colts' success. He is a really good coach. 9-8 season in his rookie year of coaching, just like DeMeco did last year. But I think he's going to bump the team up to 10, 11 wins and get them a wild card spot. He's going to play a big role in that, because I think he's going to really do well with the culture. And I think he's going to be Coach of the Year. It's either going to be him or Antonio Pierce is going to be a close second. But that's my opinion on that. And then last but not least, MVP of the league. And I think it's going to be C.J. Stroud in his sophomore year is going to be MVP of the league. He's going to lead the league in passing, as what I said earlier. He's got a lot of weapons, and he's really going to establish himself as one of the greats. Next year, in my opinion, he's going to get that MVP award. So, yeah, that's my predictions for next year's NFL season. We'll come back to this in January. That's all for now. RV out. Peace. Have a great day, y'all.